So we got Ben and Jerry's co-founder Jerry Greenfield has resigned after 47 years, claiming their parent company, Unilever, has silenced the brand's political activism, which has included speaking out in support of Gaza and human rights. Oh, what happened? It's with a broken heart that I've decided I can no longer in good conscience and after 47 years remain an employee of Ben & Jerry's. I am resigning from the company's Ben & I started back in 1978. This is one of the hardest and most painful decisions I've ever made. This isn't because I've lost my love for the people at Ben & Jerry's, quite the opposite. The folks who show up every day in our factories, scoop shops, and offices are some of the most passionate, caring, and values-driven people you'll ever meet. They are the soul of Ben & Jerry's. What has made their work so important to me and allowed the company to be more than just an ice cream company was the independence to pursue our values, which was guaranteed when Unilever bought the company. For more than 20 years under their ownership, Ben & Jerry's stood up and spoke out in support of peace, justice, and human rights. Not as abstract concepts, but in relation in real events happening around the world. That independence existed in no small part because of the unique merger agreement Ben and I negotiated with Unilever, one that enshrined our social mission and values in the company's governance structure and perpetuity. It's profoundly disappointing to come to the conclusion that the independence, the very basis of our sale to Unilever, is gone. And it's happening at a time when our country's current admin is attacking civil rights, voting rights, the rights of immigrants, women, and the LGBT community. Well, I mean, I cannot stop the LGBTQ community because of, right? The only reason why Trump is attacking that whole shit is because of religion and because there's been some crazy situations where they're trying to fucking get your kids into gender affirming care, right? And then teaching your fucking kids just stuff they're not supposed to be learning yet, right? They're trying to force your kids to, they're trying to groom your kids, literally. It's fucking weird. Like, why would you let them do that to your kids? Unless you're trying to let them groom your kids, which is fucking weird. I don't, that's your own prerogative, right? I guess. The women thing, that's a stretch. I think it's because, they don't like Trump and he makes a bunch of, let's say, hyperbolic remarks, yes. The rights of immigrants, there's so, what do you mean the rights of immigrants? That's not built in our constitution. It's the rights of the citizens of, right, the United States. Voting rights, what voting rights has he taken away? He hasn't taken away anything. I mean, if you're talking about like the whole weird weird states where they allow like no voting ID and shit like that, you're fucking out of your mind. Right? You're cheating there. Right? It's the same thing like ballot stuffing. Right? Where that one there was that one politician that ballot stuffed for his own selfish gains, right? And he got elected for, what was it, governor or mayor? I forgot what it was. It was in one of the states. It was fucking stupid. Anyways, and you could see him. You could see him on video, fucking having someone ballot stuff for. He was just getting. He was having a bunch of ballots and stuffing each day. It was like, what the fuck? Okay, and then the civil rights. What civil rights? If anything, the Democrats are trying to take away our civil rights, right? Especially when you start taking away the rights of, say, white men, such as myself, right? I'm a white guy. Anyways, Or take away my gun rights, too. How about that? Or my freedom of speech, yes. Anyways. Love equity. Oh, no. DEI bullshit. Love equity justice. Oh, there it is. Ben and Jerry's. DEI. They're part of who Ben and I are. And they're always been the true founded gay. I'm sorry, that's fucking gay. From the very beginning, Ben and I believed that our values and the pursuit of justice were more important than the company itself. Please. When you said these statements, right, and didn't give any like modicum of examples, like, yeah, no, fuck you. No, you're shady as fuck. Eat dick. Anyways. If the company couldn't stand up for the things we believe, then it wasn't worth being a company at all. Well, I mean, because you guys don't stand up for what you believe in. You guys want to shackle people. You want to shackle my rights as a fucking human being. Go fuck yourself. It was always about more than just ice cream. It was a way to spread love and invite others into the fight for equity, justice, and a better world. Oh, Jesus Christ. This sounds like some Captain Planet shit. Because Captain Planet was obviously used as a fucking, right? It was a eco, right? It was a eco propaganda, fucking, right? Eco propaganda TV show. Anyways, coming to the conclusion that this is no longer possible at Ben and Jerry's means I can no longer remain part of Ben and Jerry's. If I can't carry those values forward inside the company today, when I will carry them forward outside with all the love and conviction I can, with love, Jerry. Anyways. Yay. Yeah, death to America. But yeah. As you can see, Jerry is out. What do we got next? Charlie Kirk did not say... Oh, yeah, then we lead into this, right?
Racist. This word has been overused for so long
from that
we don't seem to understand
and
what
whatever
it is
the
anymore.
fuck they were spouting.
And it's what people call
to
Charlie
this
Kirk,
guy.
in part for this statement about several prominent black women.
In fact, you know, if we would have
this
said,
Kaizen D, a Sudi guy, I don't know who he is exactly, but he seems like a pretty chill guy.
Obama and Sheila
He's like
Jackson
a pretty
Lee
chill,
and Ketanji
straightforward
Brown
guy.
Jackson were affirmative action picks, we would have been called the racist. But now they're coming out and they're saying it for us. They're coming out and they're saying, I'm only here because of affirmative action. Yeah, we know. You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously. You had to go steal a white person's slot to go be taken somewhat seriously.
Was that rude and insensitive of Charlie?
No.
Yes. Was it a counterproductive?
He said yes.
attack?
I said no. I don't. I
Also,
guess
yes.
that's just me.
Was it racist?
I guess for me, I'm just more
No.
upfront about it.
The Oxford English Dictionary defines racism as prejudice or discrimination based on race, or the belief that some races are inherently superior. Out of context, Charlie's statement can sound racist. And here's the context. Charlie was talking about affirmative action policies.
Yeah, he was
responding
talking
to a
yeah,
series
I
of
thought that's
admissions by
well,
several
even right, even in that whole statement, that was right. Isn't that the basis of affirmative action that he was talking in?
of those black women that they benefited from affirmative action, including this one.
Rise today as a clear recipient of affirmative
Oh
action.
no, not this bit. Oh God. Oh Jesus. Sheila Jackson Lee. Ah, fuck. Not her. God damn it. She's a fucking stain.
Affirmative
God.
action, and particularly in higher.
Dude, this bitch was all about like being like, oh, all the white people are the problems. Them white people are the problems. Fuck you, white people. She was literally like a Oprah Winfrey. Like, oh, I mean, fucking, what's her other?
Education.
That
I may
bitch
have
on
been
The View.
admitted on affirmative action, both in terms of being a woman and a
Whoopi
woman of color,
Goldberg.
but I can
Fucking
declare that I
Whoopi.
did not graduate on affirmative action.
She's like a
Michelle
she's like a
Obama wrote
Whoopi
of her
version,
college
but on the
experiences.
fucking
I
right Senate
sometimes
floor.
wondered
It's
if
even
people
worse.
thought I got there
She's
because of affirmative
10
action.
times worse.
I went to Harvard, and I've often wondered the same thing. I even had a white liberal, who I knew, throw that in my face. And it's a rational thing to wonder. Charlie voiced the doubt that many were afraid to admit. In a system that factures in race,
What?
people
Afraid?
will
No, I
wonder
ain't afraid.
if race
I
is a
what?
factor. So if Michelle wondered if
Yeah,
people had doubt, wouldn't
I
it
ain't
be
afraid to
reasonable
say
to expect that some people did have doubt? Now, look,
Look,
you might
hey,
think
hey, there's a right. There's the protected class. Right there's a two-class system. Right. There's the first-class citizen and the second-class citizen. That's the way I see it.
upside
Yeah,
of
you
affirmative
know,
action
you got the
outweighs
protected,
downside.
the
That's
elevated
okay. Charlie
protected
disagreed.
class
And here was
motherfuckers
his mistake.
who
By attacking the
get
intelligence
everything
of those women,
spoon-fed to
he
them,
made his point
and
in
then
an
you have
emotionally
the class
unintelligent
that
way.
just takes
It
all
was
the
racially
bullshit
insensitive.
because they
Charlie
have
was
to
a
take
white
it because
man
all these
commenting
fucking
on
rich
specific black
assholes
women.
and
So
people
there's
trying
a
to
higher
fuck with them.
chance of him coming across as offensive and other black women feeling defensive. That doesn't mean he can't speak. It's just a reminder to all of us that what you say matters and how you say it matters too. And it wasn't racist. He didn't say they were unqualified because they were black. He said he thought they were unqualified and speculated they were elevated because they were black.
Correct. Right? Well, I mean, okay, Michelle Obama's kind of like whatever. Now, Ketanji Brown Jackson. This bitch was like, what is a woman? Right? And then she goes into her Supreme Court, right, fucking deposit, right, her, whenever she puts out her statements, it's always about her fucking feelings. It has nothing to do with the law. It has nothing to do with, right, the fairness of things. No, it's about her feelings. And how she's not a woman. And how she's like, what is a woman?
Because they were
Fuck
black.
that bitch.
And affirmative action policies create the conditions for that speculation. He attacked specific individuals.
Oh,
who
no,
he
not
thought
Joy Reid. Please get
benefited
her
from a
out of here.
race-based policy.
Holy
He did
shit.
not imply
Get
that their
her.
race made them inferior. Which brings us to our bigger problem. Charlie
Right, a
was
lot of
just
these
killed.
people were also
People
kicked out
are
already.
celebrating his death.
Even John,
His
right,
comment was insensitive. And celebrating death
right, Corinne
inhuman.
Jean-Pierre, right, that dumb
That would be
bitch.
true even if that
Right,
statement
even
was
she was
racist.
saying some
But that's the
fucking
problem with social
dumb
media.
shit.
An
Fuck
insensitive
her.
sentence gets called racist. And then racist
Right, she was
get the
playing
death
defense
sentence.
for a
Then people
fucking
rush to
president that wasn't
explain,
even being
I
a
don't condemn
president.
violence,
It was a
but
fucking cancer
this is why I'm
patient in
not
the
bothered.
goddamn White House.
We should all be bothered. We think we know the whole truth, but we don't. Algorithms give us news that confirms our views. So people don't see the black leadership.
Even then, right? Even then, the algorithm, right? It's kind of both. There's obviously news media outlets who are obviously trying to push away certain stories because they don't want to touch on those stories because they don't want to, right? They don't want to wake up the crowd too much, right? And then you have other news media outlets who are just willing to, right, stay in one single, right, realm and just don't delve into, right, too much of the crazy shit, right? So, and then you have people that go into the crazy stuff, obviously. So it's like right, it's a mixed bag, right? And then you obviously have people who push a fucked up narrative, really. Right.
Summits Charlie organized. They don't see how he had black allies who he listened to when he made mistakes. Social media is warping our reality and our humanity. A bad argument doesn't make a bad person,
I mean,
but we
true.
exaggerate the bad and explain away the
Well,
guilt.
I mean, it's obviously people over-exaggerating things, too. Right? People, for whatever reason, when it comes to, like, the political area, people think the worst possible thing. Fucking, right? Especially, alright. Well, I guess you can say especially now with what happened with Charlie Kirk, right? Right? If you just speak your mind, you're a target. Right?
And now, many are celebrating the death of a man they're certain they understood. This assassination is a wake-up call for our nation.
It is.
This is where broken discourse leads.
Yeah.
Partisanship isn't working.
Well, I mean,
So
we've
we need a
had,
new approach.
we've tried
I've
to
got the
have
full breakdown
open, healthy
and a
discussions
path
for a
forward
while now, right?
on my Substack.
And ever
Link
since
below.
this now, it's like, I don't think we can have any more healthy discussions anymore. Especially when you do that kind of shit. Like, ugh. Alright. And then we have Benny Johnson. All of these links will be in the description, right? All on the YouTubes later. I'm not gonna read this. We're just gonna watch the video.
You know, when you look at the conduct that has taken place by Jimmy Kimmel, it appears to be some of the sickest conduct possible. As you've indicated, there are avenues here for the FCC, so there are some ways in which I need to be a little bit careful, because we could be
I'm
called
blocking
ultimately
the
to
dude.
be a judge on some of these claims
Sorry.
that come up. But I don't think this is an isolated incident. I mean, you go back to
Let me
Representative Swalwell, and he had a tweet
Oop.
out last week where he
Hello.
was saying that, emphasizing that Charlie Kirk's killer was a straight white male from a Republican family that voted for Donald Trump. In some quarters, there's a very concerted effort to try to lie to the American people
Correct.
about the nature, as you indicated, of one
Oh
of the
yeah,
most
there's all sorts of
significant,
people trying to lie so
newsworthy,
fucking much.
public interest
And
acts
they're
that we've
smiling
seen in
too
a
while
long
they
time.
fucking do it.
And what appears
the
to
crazy
be an
fucking
action by Jimmy Kimmel to play into that narrative that this was somehow a MAGA or Republican motivated person. If that's what happened
Right,
here,
they put
with
on
his
the
conduct, that is
fake
really, really sick. I've been very
waterworks.
clear.
Right,
From the moment that I
they
have
put on
become
that
chairman of the
fucking
FCC,
fucking
I
gremlin
want to
smile as
reinvigorate
they lie to
the
your
public
fucking
interest. And what
face.
people don't
Yeah,
understand
no,
is
fuck
that the
these people.
broadcasters, and you've gotten this right, are
Enough's enough.
entirely different than people that use other forms of communication. They have a license granted by us at the FCC, and that comes with it an obligation to operate in the public interest. And we can get into some ways that we've been trying to reinvigorate the public interest and some changes that we've seen. But frankly, when you see stuff like this, I mean, look, we can do this the easy way or the hard way. These companies can find
I'm
ways
already here.
to change
I'm waiting
conduct
for.
and take action.
I'm waiting for
Frankly,
the pillory, yo.
on Kimmel, or there's going to be additional work for the FCC.
I'm waiting for the
ahead.
Rotten Tomatoes to be
What kind of
thrown
action
and
would you
shit.
see? I, at the very least, would like to have
I'm
an
here for the
on-air
fight.
apology from Jimmy Kimmel to the Kirk family, to all of those who he slandered, because he did say that Charlie Kirk, he is effectively saying that our movement did this. Our movement killed Charlie, that Charlie was deserving of this, effectively. And we've seen that rear its head. This happens quite regularly, actually, on MSNBC and on other networks, where they're trying to victim blame. And what that
Correct.
does, Mr.
I mean,
Chairman,
yeah,
respectfully,
you
is
could see
continues
they
the lie.
victim blame at every turn
And
they can.
continues
Oh, it's always the
the threat
Republicans
level
who say these
to
inflammatory
say
statements. It's
effectively
because of
that
Trump.
we have
It's
no
all because
share
of
in this
Trump.
problem
It's all
at all,
because of JD.
on the left.
It's all because of Elon.
This is a clear-cut
He
case.
took
What would
Doge
you like to see
and
done
did
at ABC?
stuff with our money.
Well, look, I think what you said there strikes me as a very reasonable, minimal step that can be taken. I mean, obviously, look, there's calls for Kimmel to be fired. I think, you could certainly see a path forward for suspension.
Look, I
over
can't
this.
talk
And again,
for like
the
the
FCC
Candace
is gonna have
Owens or the Nick
remedies that we could look
Fuentes,
at.
right? Those
Again,
guys have their
may
own
ultimately be called to be
crazy
a judge
shit
on that.
they
But
do,
this also
right?
strikes me as sort of conduct that
And
to
then
some
you
extent,
obviously have the
shows some
Hassans
sort of
and the
desperate
Destiny who
irrelevance.
obviously
I mean,
do their
we're
own
sort of
crazy
exiting
shit
an
and try
era
to
where the
besmirch
three main
right
legacy broadcast
dead.
networks
in
could
a
control
sense.
and
Like,
dictate
Jesus Christ,
the
you people are
narrative to the
gross.
American people. And one of the things that President Trump did when he ran for office,
Right, they tried
he
to
ran
desecrate the dead.
directly
Right, they
at
tried to
that legacy
dance on the
media
graves of the
establishment. He
dead.
smashed
Right,
the
it's
facade that they get to
as one
control
does if
what
you're
we
a
say,
fucking piece of shit.
what we
Right.
think, the narrative around events. And we're seeing a lot
I mean,
of
I'm not saying
consequences
Nick
that are
Fuentes
flowing
does it
from President Trump doing that. I mean,
to
look,
Charlie
NPR has
Kirk,
been
but I mean,
defunded. PBS
some of the
has been
remarks he
defunded.
makes
Colbert
sometimes
is
it's kind of
retiring.
like
Joy Reid is out at MSNBC. Terry
I don't know if you're
Moran
trying to
has
talk
gone
shit
from
or trying to be
ABC
mean.
and now admitting that they are
Which one is
biased.
it?
CBS is now made
And then
some
you have
commitments to
Candace
us that they're
Owens
going to
just
return to more
making up
fact-based
fucking conspiracy
journalism.
theories and shit.
So I think
right?
you see some lashing out from people like Kimmel.
I mean, you got a bunch of
who
people
are,
trying to make
frankly,
conspiracy theories,
talentless
right?
and are looking for ways to get attention. But their grip on the narrative is slipping. That doesn't mean that it's still not important to hold them to the public interest standard. That's what we're going to have to do.
So we did elucidate and enumerate a number of statutes that could be used against ABC. If you would, Mr.
Right. Isn't
Chairman, would you
wasn't
just
Wall Street Journal
explain
getting
for us
tagged by
what
Trump
broadcasting
too,
in
at
the
some
public interest means? I don't think most people understand actually the depth
I mean, look,
of how important it is that
news
ABC,
media
NBC,
outlets
CBS
can't-
have these
right.
gratuitous
They can't break the
broadcast
laws
privileges
either.
granted
if
to
they,
them by the
if
American
they delve
taxpayer.
to if they try to
Yeah,
slander
the right way to sort of
you,
explain this to people
right,
so they
defame
understand
you,
it
they
is in the
can
media
be held
landscape
right
here,
liable.
there's two main buckets of actors. One, you've got what we call national programmers. So that's what Comcast is, Comcast NBC. That's what Disney is, Disney ABC. They're the ones that effectively create and produce these shows. They then provide those shows to individually licensed TV stations. And those TV stations are, in the main, owned by independent companies, independent from Comcast and Disney. But Disney and Comcast both own some televisions themselves. So start from the idea
a lot
that
of these
national
right, a
programmers
lot of
that
these
create
big
the show,
companies own a lot
including
of
the
shit,
Kimmel
right?
Show, and then they're given to and distributed over
They like
licensed
to
TV
invest
stations. The
in
licensed
right,
TV stations
and a lot
that
of
have the public interest
things,
standard, including
yes.
those TV stations that Comcast and Disney own. So FCC regulatory action focuses on those individual stations. And one thing that we're trying to do is to empower those local stations to serve their own communities. And the public interest means you can't be running a narrow partisan circus and still meeting your public interest obligations. It means you can't be engaging in a pattern of news distortion. We have a rule on the book.
Well, I
mean,
yeah, just look at CNN, MSNBC, AB, right? They are running news distortion.
Likewise, we have a rule that addresses.
I mean, you could say Fox isn't too much.
Over the
I mean,
years,
they kind of
the FCC
do a
has
little
stepped
bit
back
of
from
weirdness,
enforcing it,
but
and I don't think it's been to the benefit of anybody.
I mean, they
Just
try
look
to
at the
balance it
credibility
out, right?
of these legacy media, it's absolutely through the floor. They used to be able to say at least they were more trustworthy than Congress, but now they're even less trustworthy than Congress. And so I think as a business matter for them, something has to change. And at the FCC, we need to reinvigorate this. So again, there's actions that we can take on licensed broadcasters. And frankly, I think that it's really sort of past time that a lot of these licensed broadcasters themselves push back on Comcast and Disney and say, listen, we are going to preempt. We are not going to run Kimmel anymore until you straighten this out, because we licensed broadcaster, are running the possibility of fines or license revocation from the FCC if we continue to run content that ends up being a pattern of news distortion.
You don't want to go to
think,
jail
again,
for
Disney needs to see some change
constantly
here, but the
making
individual licensed
accusations
stations
and
that
not
are
fucking
taking their
fixing them
content,
like The View
it's
does.
time for them to step up and say, this garbage, to the extent that that's what comes out
and
of the future,
and they have lawyers
isn't
on
something
their
that we
fucking
think serves the needs of our local communities. But this sort of status quo is obviously not
they
acceptable.
have
I
lawyers
believe that
on
Jimmy
their
Kimmel
outlet,
said
and
rises
they
to the level
still
of news distortion.
fucking lie.
Look, again, the FCC could be called upon to be an ultimate judge in that,
Like,
but
what the
at this point, I think it's
Oh,
clear.
shit.
It appears to be clear that you
my
can make
God.
a strong argument.
Have
that
lawyers
this is
on
sort of
their
an
outlet, and they
intentional
still
effort
lie out their
to
fucking
mislead the
teeth.
American people about a very core,
Oh,
fundamental fact, a
shit.
very important matter. At the end of the day, if we do
Fucking
get
hell.
called upon to cast a vote on this,
I
Disney
mean,
will have a
look, we
chance to
can't
put
go
in,
after
their
Al
arguments and explain
Jazeera,
it, but,
right? Even though
this
they're
is
in the
a very,
middle,
very,
right? Because they're in the
serious issue
Middle
right now
East.
for Disney.
But at least we can go after all the ones in the U.S. who have been spouting just bullshit, right?
when you look at the conduct that
Right? It's like, remember when we had that issue with the disinformation, misinformation board that they were trying to fucking put up? Right? They're just trying to do it the fucking legacy media way now, right? That's all it is. Right? Let me pull that up real quick. Uh, right. Remember the disinformation governance board? Right? Remember that bullshit that they tried to enact in 2022 with the Biden admin? Yeah, these motherfuckers. By the Homeland Security, right? Fucking Mayorkas piece of shit, right? This piece of fucking filth. Yeah. Now they're just trying to do it the legacy media way, right? With their fucking disinformation governance, right? Why not just use social media and legacy media outlets to just push that bullshit, right? Anyways. Sinclair says Kimmel's suspension is not enough. Calls on FCC and ABC to take additional action. Sinclair's ABC station to air a special in remembrance of Charlie Kirk during Jimmy Kimmel Live time slot on Friday. Maryland, September 17th, 2025. Sinclair, the nation's largest ABC affiliate group, objects to recent comments made by Mr. Kimmel concerning the assassination of Charlie Kirk. As discussed with ABC earlier today, Sinclair decided to indefinitely preempt Jimmy Kimmel Live beginning tonight. Following these discussions, ABC has suspended production of Jimmy Kimmel Live. Mr. Kimmel's remarks were inappropriate and deeply insensitive at a critical moment for our country, and Vice Chairman Jason Smith. Oh yeah, by the way, the people who were trying to run that disinformation board, or tried to, right, who were all up in, like, who wanted that shit to happen, yeah, some of those people are still running around in our government, right, with a smile on their fucking pieces of shit faces, right? We believe broadcasters have a responsibility to educate and evaluate respectful, conservative dialogue in our communities. We appreciate FCC Chairman Carr's remarks today, and this incident highlights the critical need to the FCC to take immediate regulatory action to address control held over local broadcasters by the big national networks. Sinclair's ABC stations will air a special in remembrance of Charlie Kirk this Friday during Jimmy Kimmel's Live's time slot. The special will also air across all Sinclair stations this weekend. In addition, Sinclair is offering the special to all ABC affiliates across the country. So they want to run this this Charlie Kirk Live special during, I guess, Kimmel's time slot, but Kimmel was like, no, I want to be a douche, and I want to fight, I guess, I don't know. Sinclair will not lift the suspension of Jimmy, well, he was also spouting some lies too, right? It wasn't just because of that. Anyways, on our stations until formal discussions are held with ABC regarding the new network's commitment to professionalism and accountability. Sinclair also calls upon Mr. Kimmel to issue a direct apology to the Kirk family. Oh yeah, don't forget, Erica could still file defamation lawsuits, by the way. Right? So you might want to tread carefully. Furthermore, we ask Mr. Kimmel to make a meaningful personal donation to the Kirk family and Turning Point USA. Regardless of ABC's plans for the future of the program, Sinclair intends not to return Jimmy Kimmel Live to our air until we are confident that appropriate steps have been taken to uphold the standards expected of a national broadcast platform. Right? Right, because you are on national TV, right, spreading your fucking message, in a sense, right? And if people listen to that free marketplace, right, of ideas, and they don't like it, well, they might have some statements to make. Yes. Sinclair Inc., Nasdaq, SBGI is a but diversified media company and a leading provider of local news and sports. The company owns, operates, and/or provides services to 178 television stations and 81 markets. Notice how it says 81 markets. Yes. Yikes. That's a lot of people you're pushing out that hateful message to, are you not? The lies and deceitful disinformation. Yes? Oh, that's gonna hurt, isn't it? Anyways, affiliated with all major broadcast networks, owns Tennis Channel, the premium destination for tennis enthusiasts. Oh yeah, and all the sports, like the high, like the professional sports, who are like saying bullshit and whatnot. Like, oh, be careful. You're supposed to do right. It's unsportsmanlike to do that kind of shit, especially given your high-paid position. Yes. Be careful. The premium. Anyways, multicast networks charge, comment, roar, and the Nest. Tennis. Yeah, we read that. Nest Sinclair's AMP Media produces a growing portfolio of digital content and original podcasts. So as you can see, they have a lot of media stuff. And if you're pushing a lot of disinformation and a lot of that stuff, ooh. Oh, that's gonna look bad, isn't it? Yeah. Anyways, additional information about Sinclair can be found on the sbgi.net. So yeah, there you have it. So yeah, you got a bunch of people saying stuff, right? And then I think this is what we just read pretty much. Sinclair says Kimmel's suspension is not enough, calls on FCC, right, and ABC to take additional action. Sinclair station and air special Baltimore Business Wire. Sinclair is the nation's largest ABC affiliate group. Objects to recent comments made by Mr. Kimmel concerning the assassination of Charlie Kirk. As discussed with ABC earlier today, Sinclair decided to indefinitely preempt Jimmy Kimmel Live beginning tonight. Following these discussions, ABC has suspended production. Right. So they canceled them because when you're out there spreading a bunch of hate and lies and slander and disinformation, well, I mean, people can only take it for so long. Yes. Vice Chairman Smith, we believe broadcasters have a responsibility to educate and elevate respectful, constructive dialogue in our communities. Oh, ouch. Unfortunately, well, that doesn't happen a lot. Unfortunately, yeah. We appreciate FCC Chairman's remarks today, and this incident highlights the critical need for FCC to take immediate regulatory action to address control over local broadcasters for the big national networks. So yeah, there you have it. I'm not going to read this whole thing, but if I will leave it in the Right in the description, because it's another source to look at. Yes. But yeah, there you have it.
National News Desk, America's News Now. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Didi.
Here we go. Let's see what this piece of shit assassin was saying with all the chilling text messages. Because everybody wants to shield their eyes from the obvious crime that fucking happened. Right? A lot of these people who like talk about political things, I guess they don't like watch the criminal news, all the crime that happens on the fucking news or something.
Prosecutors are in fact now seeking the death penalty. Now, not only was Robinson's DNA found on a trigger of a rifle used in that shooting, prosecutors today outlining incriminating text messages, a confession, they say, to his roommate.
I don't think people look at like police body cams.
Right here, Robinson
I don't think people look at like the day-to-day operations.
Look under my keyboard. Now, in this thread,
like
the two discuss the rifle
footages
and a potential motive.
Those police officers
Robinson,
put out.
I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out. Roommate,
happened already.
How long have you been planning this? Robinson, a bit over a week, I believe. Then referencing his rifle,
very easy to tell who the fuck is
I can
lying
get close
and
to
who the
it,
fuck is
but there is a
telling the truth.
squad car parked right by it. I think they already swept that spot, but I don't want to chance it.
After shooting Mr. Kirk, Robinson hid the gun, discarded the clothing he wore when he fired the rifle, and told his roommate to delete incriminating text messages and not talk to police.
Robinson's parents later telling police that after the first images of the suspect were released, the ones you see right here, they agreed it looked just like their son. They had a fear that it could have been him at the time. And when they questioned Tyler, he told them he was at home sick. Meantime, a judge ordered Robinson to stay in custody without bail.
From the nation's capital, this is the National News Desk, America's News Now. I'm Didi Gatton, and the suspect in the assassination of Charlie Kirk appeared virtually from the Utah County Jail today. Tyler Robinson is facing these 7 charges, and prosecutors are pursuing the death penalty. Let's go straight to the National News Desk. Brian Schnee in Salt Lake City with us tonight. Brian, any late developments on when or if we may see federal charges?
Didi, for the 6th day in a row, all eyes on the state of Utah. As you are very aware of those 7 charges, there is the opportunity for any sort of federal enhancement. However, nothing here on the ground has been confirmed. Jeff Gray, the Utah County attorney who you heard from, saying there is the opportunity after reviewing, quote, evidence and the law from federal agencies. Director Kash Patel, the FBI, was grilled talking about the investigation today. And President Donald Trump also weighing in about the possibility, saying it's not clear whether there will or not be federal charges at this point, in addition to any state charges that he's already facing.
Yeah, the DA received that question earlier, didn't provide a concrete answer, but a lot of time spent, Brian, on that text exchange, which was included in the charging documents. Share with us how the DA responded to the alleged interaction between Robinson and a roommate.
Well, the DA did take questions today. He was extremely limited with his responses. That included fielding questions about the text messages. When asked directly if they are confession in any way, he replied that the judge will determine if that is the case at a possible trial. But while the DA, Jeff Gray, did take some of those questions into account, he did not elaborate further beyond the 10-page charging document, which he shared publicly today in a court filing.
I also noticed during the news conference earlier, the DA didn't really answer if there were any suspects, anything on the ground to indicate the suspect may have had an accomplice.
Well, the FBI was grilled today, and they did say that they are investigating others who knew about Robinson's alleged action.
And in addition to the text messages Ryan just mentioned, the Washington Post obtaining screenshots of the alleged confession on the platform Discord. The National News Desk, Jeff Harris joining us. FBI Director Kash Patel addressing the Post reporting while testifying on Capitol Hill today. Very heated. What else did he share with lawmakers, Jeff?
So appearing before the Senate Judiciary Committee this morning, Patel confirmed Kirk's accused assassin, Tyler Robinson, appeared to confess in a Discord chat, which included over a dozen people. The FBI now working to track down
these people that were got.
Patel
Right
telling
in front of
lawmakers
the,
Tuesday
the
morning there are more
museum.
than 20 other users in the reported Discord chat
Oh, wait,
involving
shit, you can't see it.
Robinson.
We're also going to be investigating anyone and everyone involved
Right.
in that Discord chat.
Patel confirming
There was
the
some
report from the
people on.
Washington Post
There was a
that obtained
particular
screenshots of
streamer
what
on
appears
Twitch
to be
who
Robinson confessing to
was saying
assassinating
some
Kirk in
shit
a
about
Discord
this
chat.
one. Yeah.
The message is reading, quote, "Hey guys, I have bad news for
Hey,
you all." And it was me at UVU
maybe I should bring this
yesterday.
up to
I'm sorry
Elon
for all
Musk
of this.
and
The
be like,
message
"Hey,
reportedly being
Elon,
sent Thursday night, about
he
2
was
hours
saying some
before
shit about
officials
these
said
people
Robinson was in
because
custody.
he
Patel
hates
telling Fox
right,
News this
Israel
week
and
they've
Jewish
already
people a lot for
contacted
some
and
reason.
connected with multiple people.
There are also lots of family members and friends that have already been spoken to.
Information systems expert Rajiv Garg tells us Discord is a messaging platform with over 200 million monthly users.
To have a voice or video calls with each other, share text messages, play games.
Oh yeah,
Unlike
remember
other
this?
messaging platforms, he says
Remember they
Discord
tried to
allows
say this
users
guy
more
was a
control.
fucking white
Community
man?
moderators mostly control
Yeah.
privacy and security settings, along
Yeah,
with
I
who's
remember
invited
that.
into communities called servers.
Each individual user has a lot of control compared to the platform itself. Now,
Aside from Robinson, Discord has been at the center of controversy in the past. Thomas Matthew Crooks, the attempted assassin of President
remember
Trump, had an
during
account
the
on the Discord
protests,
app. And Peyton Gendron,
they were
who carried
bringing
out the
out their
2022
children
mass shooting
and
in
using
Buffalo,
them as a
also
fucking
had a private
shield.
server
Yeah.
on Discord functioning as a diary. Now, Discord
The
says
fuck
is
are you
that it
doing?
has not uncovered evidence that Robinson promoted violence on the platform.
Hey, no one's
Its
above the
official
law,
policy also
right?
stating
Oh,
it
look
does
at
not allow
this.
hateful
Joe
conduct
Biden,
or the use of hate speech.
Pritzker,
Reporting for
Amy
the National News Desk,
Klobuchar,
I'm Jeff Harris.
I grabbed my
Lori
rifle
Tran,
still.
Mark
To be
Hamill,
honest, I had hoped to keep
Jamal
this secret till
Bowman,
I died of old age.
Frederica
I am
Wilson,
sorry to
Tisha
involve
James.
you.
Oh wow, Joe Scarborough,
Roommate,
Chuck
you weren't
the
the one
Murder
who did it,
Schumer.
right?
Oh look at, hey, isn't that
Robinson,
Keith
I am
Olbermann who
sorry.
was saying some shit too?
7 counts were
Oh, look,
officially
it's
filed against the
Sissy
man
Boy.
accused of killing Charlie Kirk,
Oh, man.
including
A lot of
aggravated
people in
murder.
there who-
Tonight, we get a sense of the evidence prosecutors are
deserve the
pouring
noose.
over, including what authorities claim are text exchanges between Tyler Robinson and a roommate. For U.S.
No one's
Attorney
above
John
the law,
Fishwick joining
right?
us. A lot to unpack tonight, John. What about that alleged admission of
What
guilt
about
in a
her?
chat?
Is she above
Could
the
that
law?
be an attempt for the
I
suspect
don't-
to utilize the admission?
She married
as a
her
plea to
boyfriend
avoid
or
the
her
death
brother
penalty, which, as you know,
on her
is the
forms
table.
too.
Didi, I think it'll be uphill for his legal team to get the death
They're all
penalty off
lying
the
on their
table.
fucking forms.
You know, in those chats with his roommate and when he talked to his parents and when he wrote the note, there's no real remorse. There's no I'm sorry. There's no asking for forgiveness for assassinating Charlie Kirk. It's pretty clear he's just admitting to it. So I don't
Correct.
think that would garner much sympathy with the jury who's deciding whether he should get the death
Oh,
penalty or
remember
not.
what
In fact, I think it
Buttigieg
may hurt
said
his
about
case
highways?
and make it much more uphill for his legal team.
Hey,
It's interesting.
remember?
Utah's governor and
Remember
the president
that?
had been calling for the death
Oh,
penalty
man.
even
I
before
remember.
a suspect was identified. You remember the intense manhunt. Robinson's
Oh,
arrest was
man.
facilitated by his father, seemingly with the knowledge, John, the death penalty would be on the table. What impact could that have on the case? Do you see a
There's
scenario
racism
where the mother
physically
and father
built
could
into
perhaps
some of
testify
our
against their son?
highways.
Didi, I fully expect them to testify at the
Fucking
trial. I'm sure it'll be
retarded.
very emotional testimony.
an
I'm sure they
actual
didn't want to be
retard.
put in this difficult position, but nonetheless, they were by their son.
God.
And so he told them he did it. He basically admitted it to them. They know that that gun is a family gun, and they'll be able to identify on the video, yes, that's our son. Who's up there on the roof, jumping off the roof and coming into the building. So I'm sure they don't want to testify, but they'll be subpoenaed. They'll have to tell the truth. And I fully expect them to be very emotional, very impactful
Oh yeah, remember this
testimony
person?
at the
Yeah,
trial.
I remember this person.
Admitting to guilt in messages.
Yeah,
in
right.
chats,
Right in open. Yeah,
does
this is
that
the dude I
hold
was
the
talking
same
about.
weight? Does that
Open,
count in the
broad
same way
daylight.
a
It's a
suspect
fucking
admitting guilt
troon.
in front of prosecutors. in
Pulls
front
out
of
a
law
fucking
enforcement?
gun, right?
I think it may carry even more weight with the jury. After all, he's very close with his roommate. You know, obviously very close with his parents, or at least has been at some point in his life. Presumably, if you're going to admit to a crime to some people you're very close to, I think a jury's going to think you're telling the truth. So I think it'll be very powerful testimony when they bring that out, that he's admitted to this on a number of occasions to assassinating Charlie Kirk.
I mentioned the president a few moments ago. What could federal charges achieve that state charges couldn't?
Well, the state is going for the death penalty, and I think they have a really strong chance of having that to be successful. I think
They
the
do have
feds
the
are
death
scouring
penalty.
all the social media and interviewing a lot of witnesses who were in the defendant's orbit. They're looking to see, what did he target Charlie Kirk because of his religion? And that can be a federal crime if you target somebody for their religion. It can also be a federal crime if you target somebody for their First Amendment, for asserting their First Amendment rights and be strong
this
on that
person?
right. So it
I
can
do.
also be a targeting crime in that regard. And
This
that
was on a
crime
college
for targeting
campus,
somebody
by the
for the
way,
First
or
Amendment
university
carries
campus.
the death penalty. I think they're also looking like the Maggione case. Did this defendant track and stalk
Dallas.
Charlie Kirk? And that can be a federal crime as well. So I think they're combing all of his social media, interviewing many witnesses. But I fully expect the feds to bring charges against him. This is a very serious case that obviously impacted DOJ and the president in a big way. So I fully expect them to bring charges.
And it is to be seen if there are more suspects. The DA, I remember saying earlier that law enforcement is following up with any potential leads. So we'll see
look,
on that.
another
Former US
agitator.
Attorney John Fishwick, as always, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Oh man, another agitator. Oh no, another agitator. Oh no, another fucking agitator who's a fucking religious fanatic. Extremist piece of shit. Huh? Oh, remember this guy? Another fanatic. Oh, how about good old Bernie Oligarchy, yeah? Oligarchy Bernie. Yeah, Oligarchy Bernie, and come on, do you know where I'm going with this? You know where I'm going with this? Oh, what about this? Remember how they tried to change the classification of races on people? This is why we have a fucked up situation with with the different reportings on crime and statistics and shit. It's because people are misrepresenting this data. Isn't that it? Shitty thing to do. Huh? Oh yeah, how about when this happened, huh? Lesbia Melith Ramirez Guerra, 23 years old, mother of 2. Body was discovered a few days in a Maryland park. Brutally killed by illegal aliens. Casey Robinson, Alexi Barrera Rosa, who used fraudulent documents to conceal his true identity. Man. So this is the real issue. Right. This is the real issue. You can't be friends with these people. They allowed bullshit and lies and deceit, and they're trying to get you killed. They're just trying to get you killed. That's all they're trying to do now. There you have it.